Welcome back at the tutorial of creating a to-do list with JavaScript. In this video, we will be focusing on the front end. So we will try to create a task, remove a task, and also check a task if it's completed. As you can see, I have my HTML open. And inside my HTML, you can see we have a form. This form will be used to create a task. We have a template. A template is a invisible element which you can't see, but we can use it in JavaScript to copy it, change the content of it, and then append it somewhere we want. And this will be used to create our tasks. And we have a UL, a unordered list, and this is just our container of our tasks. All right, so let's start with our ToDo.js and create some event handlers. The first event handler we want to create is a onSubmit. We want to add a task to the to-do list whenever we submitted our form. So our form has an ID add task. So I'm going to select the add task element with Jquery, add task. I'm going to use the on function, and we will listen to a submit. So whenever the form is submitted, we want to do or execute a function. And I'm going to create a new function here. I'm going to use a arrow function, which has one parameter, the event. We will need the event. And inside the function, I will call another function I will create here, add task, for example. I'm going to call this dot add task. All right, I just do this to organize my code more. You could also do it directly in the arrow function. It's just up to preference. All right, so the first thing we want to do is get the value of the input. So if I type coding and I click on add, I want the word coding to be in a variable. Also, what you can notice whenever I try to add a new task, there happens a refresh. This is just default behavior of a form, and I want to prevent it. So I'm going to use e.prevent default to prevent this default functionality. So now if I type coding, click on add, the page shouldn't refresh. I think this just was because of our live server, but normally if we now try to submit it, it won't be refreshing. All right, so next we will get our text out of our input. Our input has a ID task, so we are going to select it by the ID task. And I want the value of the input. So this will give the text which is inside the input. And I will set a variable task equal to the value. All right, next, we want the template. We want the content of the template. So we're going to select the to-do template, and this is a class. So I'm going to select with Jquery again, a class to-do template. I'm gonna get the content of it. So this means I'm going to get the LE out of the template, and then I'm going to clone it. I want to make a copy of the original template. And this will also be a variable template. All right. Next, we want to adjust this template, of course. template, yes. We want to change the text in the paragraph. This text should be the text we typed in our input, so we already got this variable. We just need to find our paragraph, so I'm going to select our template and find the paragraph, and it has a class text, so I'm going to select it by the class text. And I want to change the text between the tags, so I'm going to change it with the variable task. All right, and the last step is to append it to our UL. So we have a UL here. I'm going to select it by its ID. So select ToDo's and append our template. Append our template. All right, so this should be working. Let's test it. Coding, add, and all right, we appended a LE with the text coding to our UL. So great, this is working. Up to our next event handler. So the next event handler will be maybe to remove it again. So inside the template, we have a hyperlink with a class JSDelete. And whenever I click on it, I want to delete the current element out of the UL. So we will add a event handler to the element with the class JSDelete. On click. All right, and a arrow function again with an events parameter. Not sure yet if you will use this. And then we are going to say this.delete task. And I'm going to create a new function, delete task. All right. So whenever this is clicked, I want to find the parent element. I want to find the LE. So a element with a class ToDo, and delete the full element. So first of all, we are going to select the current element, which is clicked, which we can do by using our event.current target. This will give the element we clicked on. So I'm going to create another task. Coding JavaScript. So if I click on this button, it will give this element, and if I click on this button, it will give this element. If I just use this kind of selector, it will return all the buttons with a class JSDelete, and that is not what I want in this case. So, all right, e.currentTarget, we're going to find a parent, so a parent element with a class ToDo. Let's see if we're getting something here. I'm going to save it in a variable. Task. Okay, let's see what we got here. Our console, coding add delete, and delete is not working. So the reason why delete isn't working or isn't executing this function is because this element doesn't exist when the event handlers are initialized. So this was dynamically added. So this button will not have a event handler. So there is a problem here. We need to to adjust this event handler so we can click anywhere in this UL and search for a delete button. So we have our ID to-dos, and I'm gonna change our event handler a bit. So I'm just gonna copy this. I'm going to select the ID to-dos. When it's clicked, I want a element with a class JS delete, and then I'm going to execute this function. So let's try this again. Console coding add cross. All right, so now you can see we do get our function executed. So what's the difference between line 11 and line 12? This event handler will also always execute when we click on the element with a ID to-dos, which is our UL. So whenever we click on to-dos and the current target is the same as JS delete, then the function will be executed. So this is a way to add event handlers on elements which are dynamically generated. All right, so next we will get our parent element. So we have our LE to do, which we print at line 25. So we select our delete button, and then we are selecting the parent with a class to do. And that list item, we want to remove it. So we use the remove function. All right, so now if I test it again, coding at delete, our list item has been deleted. All right, great. So the last thing we're going to create is a check. So I will create a JS check. And so if I check this checkbox, what I actually want to happen is the paragraph I want it to be to have the text decoration line through. So it will need the parent element will need the class is done, because you can see whenever an element has the class is done, a child paragraph will get the text decoration line through property. So that's our next function, and we will call it toggle done, for example. And we create a toggle done here. All right, with the event, and I want to print the current target parent again to test if everything is working. So if I create any new task, I check it, I get a print, but it happens 2 times. So this is not a normal behavior or not the behavior I would suspect, because if I will add a toggle class now, toggle class, I think this will not work. Is done, because when it happens twice, of course, it will add the class, but also instantly remove the class. So I'm going to test this by using a new item check. So yeah, our paragraph is not changing. So you can see we have a to do. It gets a is done class, but it's actually instantly removed. Like you can see, this is the updated version, the real-time version, and this is what it was at this moment in time. So we can't do this, or there is something wrong, and I think it is because we are using a label, and a label actually is used to simulate a click. So it's used whenever you click on a label, it would simulate a click into a input. So that's could be a reason of why the code or the function is executed twice. So maybe we should also prevent the default functionality of the label. So we are selecting the label. Yeah, JS check is a label. So let's see if we still get the console.log twice. No, it's happening once and our code is changing, or our class is appending to our element. Great. All right, so this was it for the tutorial. I'm going just to clean up my code, remove the consoles. All right, great. So in the next video, we will try to make it more dynamically. We are going to save the tasks that we are creating into an array of objects because we're saving it somewhere, and we should also be able to show it from a saved file, because now, of course, if we create an item, we refresh, it's gone, and that is not what we want. All right, see you at part 2.